Thank you for tuning in to the Island Treasures podcast. We value the insights shared by our guests and host, but it's important to note that their personal experiences are intended to inform and encourage, and not to replace professional, legal, or medical advice. With that, we are ready for today's exciting episode. Welcome to the Island Treasures mini podcast for caregivers. This episode is brought to you by Alongside Caregiver Consulting. And I am your host and caregiver consultant, Alison Van Schie from beautiful Vancouver Island in British Columbia, Canada. The full podcast episode with Sandra Strauss, called A Caregiver's Journey into Brain Inflammation, a wake-up call for us all, and her book, A Toxic Brain, Revelations from a Health Journey, expanded my thinking. Through her caregiving journey, Sandra gained knowledge of the impact of toxicity and inflammation, as well as the benefits of integrative or functional medicine. And through hearing a podcast, she learned of a toxic type of Alzheimer's. Take a listen to this clip.
When I was writing the book is when I heard a podcast featuring Dr. Dale Bredesen, who's the author of The End of Alzheimer's and other books. Brilliant brain researcher. And he was talking about a toxic type of Alzheimer's. And my radar went up. He spelled out the characteristics of what toxic Alzheimer's looks like, the biomarkers. My husband had checked all the boxes. He said, you can have both Lewy bodies and tau tangles. So you can be manifesting both at the same time. It's not just one. So it was like clarity of putting all these puzzle pieces together.
Let's hear more from Sandra about toxicity and why it's so important.
So that was my aha moment when I learned about toxicity, and I knew that this was not something that was being identified in conventional practices. And then a realization that, oh my goodness, there could be millions of people dealing with this. And then Dr. Bredesen even had more information. And that was his research is showing that a lot of Alzheimer's and cognitive decline can be reversed.
With that research, think about the impact that could have on caregivers. It's time to take note, especially with the increase of toxins and their impact, along with the knowledge that genetics affect our body's ability to detoxify.
With toxicity increasing to the degree that it has, in our food, in our air, in our water, in our products, consumer products, we're bombarded with toxins. They are affecting us, and some are being affected more because of their genetics. And so we've got to address this, and our medical system needs to address this. Fortunately, there are practitioners. They're called functional practitioners. It's a different form. They really look at the root causes. So what's causing these symptoms? It's not just giving a medication that treats the symptom. It's really looking at the underlying cause.
By consulting with functional health practitioners, we can be proactive with our own health as we strive towards a vibrant health destiny.
So there's things that we can do that help to prevent us from going down that path and to maintain our health. I'm all about vibrant health destinies.
Here's what the functional practitioner looks at as they determine your health challenges.
And so these are the things, when I say proactive, there are things that are not going to be brought up in conventional. And functional does recognize how heavy metals play a part, how mold and biotoxins play a part, how your genetics. And so you get a real big picture then of what your health challenges could be and what is important for you to follow.
I have a question for you. If for the first time someone goes to see a functional medicine practitioner, what would we ask them?
Well, they oftentimes will provide a very comprehensive questionnaire. In fact, the brain doctor that I saw here in Sarasota, his questionnaire took me hours to complete. So what it does is it gives them a very inside look. If you say, well, I've got gut issues, or I've got brain fog, or I've got, slow to heal, or some of these things just are keys. They're clues for them. So I think there's some very important tests that people should have. Heavy metals right now. I mean, I was, high in lead. I mean, I'm a baby boomer, grew up with lead pain and, lived in smog out in LA, before unleaded gasolines. So there's things that we just need to know that are not going to come out. That's why they're not being revealed in conventional tests.
Armed with this information, perhaps, like me, you're ready to take proactive measures so you can move towards your own improved health destiny. Or if you're in the midst of your own caregiving journey and need some supports, I invite you to tap into alongsidecaregiverconsulting.ca. I recognize how precious your time is, especially as caregivers, and so this mini podcast is designed just for you. And when you have more time, I invite you to listen to the full episode to hear Sandra's caregiving story of her unrelenting pursuit for answers regarding her husband's acute disabling illness, and to hear the wake-up call for us all. Thanks for listening to this mini podcast. Take care.